Hi there, guys. My name is John Lucas, and I'm part of the last grade first team. My responsibilities range from working alongside our chairman, Mark Richardson, and the explorers, Gareth and Richard, designing and implementing the digital media strategy as well as production elements for this world first crossing of the Antarctic continent. I spend most of my time based between South Africa and the United Kingdom, where most of my expeditions and projects are managed within the African continent, focusing on human behavior with regards to environmental crisis. My educational background is that of nature conservation and environmental sciences, but over the years, my career path has led me to manage expeditions and campaigns across the African continent, as well as work with various scientific research bodies across the globe, including the Antarctic regions. Most of my work focuses on bridging the gap between environmental crisis and human understanding thereof. I think a funny story or fun story I can tell is a few years ago we were in Lesotho and it had experienced the highest snowfall in recorded history for the region, and we decided to drive through the mountain kingdom in South Africa, and we got to Sani Pass, which is a very well known, a world famous mountain road up the side of the Drakensberg region. And while sitting at the top, having a coffee by the fire, one of my mates turned to me and jokingly said, "All Land Rovers have names. What is your Land Rover Defender called? Or does it have a name yet?" And in jest, we all said that no, it hadn't been named yet, purely because well, nothing substantial had happened to justify it being named. And as luck would have it, a few moments later, driving along the Senkwa River, the landy got stuck down to its axles, and we spent the rest of the afternoon digging the vehicle out of thick mud and eventually doing a full recovery with a very old Toyota Hilux Bucky. So after that, the Defender was aptly named Senkwa after the river that it got stuck in, and that stuck with it for the last 6 or so years. And yeah, I think it's not necessarily a hardcore adventure story, but just a fun, fond memory from a project that we were on. Um, yeah. I think every place is beautiful in its own rights. As an example, a place that took my breath away was the Bangwahulu swamps in Zambia, where it's just a green expanse as far as the eye can see of wetland, and the other rock formations, and in the Antarctic region, the snowfall and the ice caves are absolutely spectacular. The wildlife is spectacular. So each place has got its own unique charm and its own memories attached to it. But I think a campsite that sticks with me and has stuck with me since the age of 8 is my first ever hike with scouts. We went to the Drakensberg to up to the Tugela Falls, which is the second highest free falling waterfall in the world. And we it was a horrible hike, absolutely horrible. It rained non-stop, and I'd never been told how to waterproof a backpack. My clothing was wet, my food was wet, my sleeping bag was wet. It was just one of those hikes that you never forget and that you never actually want to go on again. And that morning, waking up and walking out to the cliff's edge and sitting next to the Tugela Falls and watching the sunrise from our campsite and it breaking through this ocean of cloud and just it was just spectacular. And I think till this day, of all the places I've gone camping and all the places I've traveled to, that sunrise in that campsite at the Tugela Falls was just breathtaking and absolutely spectacular. Um, yeah, I think that's one of those up there for me. Yeah, it's just fascinating. It's a place that you can get lost in, and it's a place that you can um, find yourself longing back to go to if you have gone there before. They are the last frontier for wildlife. They are the regions of the planet that we need to protect and that need our protection the most. And I think they're also the regions of the planet that, if allowed, can teach us the most about ourselves. That when we're out there, we're forced to connect with ourselves, we're forced to connect with nature, we're forced to move with the rhythms of the sun and the day instead of the rhythms of technology and meetings and the structures that we've created and confined ourselves to. Um, I think that's why I'm fascinated with these places. It's a place where I can take my camera, I can go sit down, and I can wait to get that perfect shot. I can go out with scientists on their research projects and go and take those photos of polar bears in the Arctic, go take photos of penguins in the Antarctic, um, go and understand. I think it's understanding that connection with oneself that the polar regions provide you with. And I think that's why they're so fascinating. Yeah. What does the last grade first mean to me as one of the members of the team, working very closely um, with everybody to make this expedition happen? Um, Besides the fact that we're making history, besides the fact that we're attempting something that has never been accomplished before, in the sense of the crossing itself, I think that it's the ability to provide an opportunity to inspire the next generation. I remember at school reading about Hillary and Shackleton and building this fascination in my mind around exploration, and that forced or contributed towards me pursuing the career that I have and pursuing what I do on a day-to-day basis, designing expeditions, working with adventurers to assist them in achieving their goals of their projects, and working with environmental organizations to use exploration as a vessel for education. And that all stemmed from learning about Shackleton and polar exploration and mountaineering exploration, all because of a history teacher that was really fascinated with that era of exploration, and that was kind of an extracurricular lesson that they taught us at school, as it wasn't part of our curriculum in South Africa at all. But I think what the last grade first means to me is that it's an opportunity for everybody around the world to learn about the fragile state of the polar regions. The fact that we've partnered with the Antarctic Science Foundation and are conducting a very unique research program alongside them, looking at climate data, that we're working with the Scouts and promoting educational content through Scouts to learn about this region. I just think that the last grade first is an opportunity for everybody to connect to this remote wilderness and to see what it has to offer. In closing, I would like to challenge you all to subscribe and like and follow the expedition, not to increase the metrics and to have more followers and to boost our standing on social media, but I want to make it a challenge to you to be able to learn about this Arctic environment, learn about what it takes to manage an expedition like this, learn about the equipment, the environment, the temperatures, what animals are in the North Pole versus the South Pole. Why are there poles? What happens at those poles? The research stations. I think that this expedition will give a unique opportunity to learn about what happens in the Antarctic region so that you can make informed decisions around how to protect the environment and how to move forward for the next generation.